Welcome back to our channel for those of you who are new to our channel. And those of you who have been along with us since the beginning, thank you so much. We love you. Mwah, 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 mwah.
Whoa, what's going on here?
To carry on. Today we are going to come on to tell you about our love story. I'm sure many of you have been kind of curious as to how we met, how we ended up with all these kids. So we just wanted to share that today, okay? Hopefully you're interested.
Yes.
Because he loves me so much. Can't you tell?
Yes. And like I wanted to say, but I couldn't get the opportunity to. Hi, everybody. I wanted to speak as well. And hopefully you can hear about our love story, which was a very interesting one, if I should say so myself.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.
That is so not him. But anyway, we met over, was it 10 years ago? 11 years? No. We met about 12 years ago.
It's about 13 years ago.
All the numbers are changing. So about 13, 14 years ago, we met in college. So I think it was a junior in college. We both went to or attended ECSU, which is Elizabeth City State University.
Elizabeth City State University, go Mighty Vikings. Shout out to all the HBCUs out there. Shout out also to my alma mater that I didn't really finish though, but
he didn't finish ECSU either, but God
North
is
Carolina
good.
Central NCCU, what up? Shout out to them Eagles out there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah.
All right. So we met in college. My sister and I actually were very interested in Gordon when we saw him. We just never said anything. And on his end, he never said anything to us.
And so basically you're saying that I had both of y'all. Yeah, so what she just said was, I actually had scooped both of them.
Oh, please.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying God's good. God bless you.
Oh, my Lord. So what happened was we were in college, and Mary and I had been praying for someone that would be interested in God, who was like-minded, just had a heart after him and really wanted to pursue, his ways. And at that time, it was very hard for us to find somebody that was even wanting to go to church. So we had kind of gotten somewhat discouraged, but we were still prayerful that our special someone would come. So I remember, I never forget it. We were in the, what is that called? The student center.
No, it was the mailroom.
Mailroom?
Student center?
It was a student center.
Okay.
We were in the student center, and across the way, we kind of see this guy. No, it wasn't even the student center. I remember it. We were driving our red Mercury. Had our names on the back and everything. It was just crazy. We were like those twins that were identical. We did everything together. We dressed alike. It was ridiculous. I mean, I'm sure some of you that know us, you're laughing right now because it was laughable.
I had to find out where the camera was looking because I had to look at I want to look at y'all in y'all face. Said when she tells you this part, look at me.
It was laughable. Like we were those twins that were like clones. We just looked alike. We wore everything exactly the same. So getting back to the story. We were driving in our red Mercury. And across the way, I kind of looked out the window and I saw this guy saying, God bless you. And, he was still very personable and silly. It seemed like all different types of people were interested in what he had to say. He dressed really nice to me. He had on it was a gray blazer and this pink button down with these light blue jeans. So he just seemed like he had it all together. And from that day on, I was like, oh, I'm really interested in him. Like, he seemed like my kind of guy. However, to find out, Mary, my twin sister, Miss Naturally Mary, she was also interested in him as well. So we were both like, okay, who is he going to like? How is this going to go? Okay, so we see him. We're both kind of, I wouldn't say madly in love, but I knew from the first time I saw him that I was in love with him. He was probably going to be my one. You would see him just in passing because we sung in the gospel choir while being outstate. He would come to some of the rehearsals. It didn't seem like he was paying us too much attention. However, I guess on his end, he was. I didn't know. We were going back and forth trying to figure out who does he like. So now I remember this special revival. It was an event that they were having outstate. There was a revival. and Pastor Kenny Shaw was preaching. And
Shout out to Pastor Kenny Shaw.
Pastor Kenny Shaw, amazing minister,
that man.
pastor, just amazing. We
Man,
really
preaching
enjoyed.
right to my wife that night.
Yes, to us both. It was
Yeah.
so, oh my God.
Yeah, it's powerful.
So during his message, he was talking about God's present gifts. And he was talking about how there was no time like the present. The present was a gift from God. I'll never forget those words because I was saying amen. And then there was this gentleman across the way who was also saying amen. We were both getting excited. You know, I'm amen and he's amen. And I'm like, who is this? Who is this? That's like, we were in sync. We were both saying it at the same time. So I was trying to figure out, you know, what was behind his amen. Because I knew what was behind mine.
Yeah.
I was thinking, okay, right now in the present, I'm going to need him to say something to me because I'm kind of wanting him to be my man.
Trying to holler though.
But I'm old fashioned, so I was not going to present myself to him. I was not coming up to him to say anything. I was going to sit in the background and I was going to wait like a lady. So, and also my sister was interested, as I said, so we were trying to figure out what was happening. So he asked for my number, and for Mary he prayed. So he prayed for Mary. He asked for my number. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, so he's praying with her. That's a little bit more spiritual. So maybe he's more interested in her. But he got my number. Mary didn't know it. But when I told her, she was very disappointed because she's saying, okay, if he asked for your number, then maybe he's more interested in you. So we still were unclear.
Shout out to Miss Naturally Mary. I want you to remember these moments. JJ, I love you. But I just want you to remember that.
She was in love too.
Next time you be trying to play your boy, don't forget that your boy is your boy now. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to JJ. You know what I'm saying? JJ done came through and swooped it up. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to JJ. I love you, man. Hey. Man, I love you.
And I don't even know if Mary will admit it, but we both were in love with Mr. Gorden Dove.
Oh, my God.
But now, if you ask her, she's like, thank the God in heaven that I did not get Gorden.
Which is a lie. Which is a lie. Which is a lie. She thanked God for me.
They love each other, but they have like a... They love each other.
Love-hate relationship.
Love-hate relationship.
It's like I love her, but then I don't want her to know how much I love her, because then if I let her know this, she gonna not love me back like I want her to love me back, and it's gonna hurt me, then I'm act like I don't love her at all anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's corny, but I love my sister-in-law.
What was your side to the story?
Alright, so, it was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine.
Oh my Lord.
Salt and Pepper Heavy D up in the limousines.
This is why she's so
hanging
thankful.
pictures on my wall. And so here's what happened, right? So I kind of grew up, you know what I'm saying, and kind of grew up in the hood, you know what I'm saying, a little bit. Thank God for the hood. But grandparents raised me. Grew up with the boys, you know what I'm saying, went to school, started playing sports, had like guys that I grew up with that playing sports, good kids. And I grew up with my guys from my local neighborhood. We had, you know what I'm saying, who what kind of people would say they're rough around the edges, but those are my guys and still my guys to the day. And so I had like this my grandfather was a pastor. And I had this very good, well-rounded type of upbringing. And so, with that being said, I always knew God was going to do something with me in life, but I wasn't all the way, as church would say, saved. I won't saved all the way. And I was kind of out here doing my thing. I had girlfriends. I had premarital sex. All that type of good stuff was going on in my life. I was, partying, going to the party, just doing my thing. I always was a one-man woman, right?
Woman?
One woman man. How you doing?
No, a one woman man.
Yeah, how you say? In other words, I was never a cheater, but I had a different upbringing in that sense. And so, with that being said, I remember going to Elizabeth City State University, and I was at North Carolina Central. I left and went to North Carolina Central University in Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina Central, NCCU Eagles. And at that point, I was just, a different guy. And I remember coming back home on a break, and I went out to Elizabeth City State, and I was around some of the guys around there. When I came from Elizabeth City State, a few of the frat guys. I'm not in a frat, but I was around some guys, and I'll never forget, I saw these two girls walking. They were twins. I was like, yo, who are they? Just seen them going across the yard. I was like, yo, who in the world? They was
dressed alike.
They was like, yo, they were dressed alike and everything. But here's the thing. I didn't even really pay that any mind. Like, something just literally just kind of grabbed me. I was like, who are they? And I remember my boy being like, man, bruh, that's the twins, bruh. Like, I know you ain't thinking. I was like, what you mean? I was like, man, them girls ain't gonna mess around with you, man. Like, they don't want nobody like you. Like, and you ain't gonna want them. They ain't doing nothing. Because everybody knew they were saving themselves to marriage.
That's right.
Like, everybody on the yard knew that these girls loved the Lord. They knew that they never had sex. They were not interested in, dating anybody that they weren't gonna marry. I mean, it was a fact. Everyone knew that. And so he was like, dude, they ain't, like, you don't want them because they ain't doing nothing. You trying to do a little something and they ain't for that. And, you know what I'm saying? You definitely, blah, 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 blah. They ain't going to want you because blah, blah. I said, for real, bro? That's how you think I am? I was like, all right. I said, I tell you one thing. I'm going to marry one of those girls. Like, this, the words out of my mouth. Yeah. No joke. And so I think this was probably maybe freshman year. So I left, went back, and
we hadn't seen him at this point.
I hadn't seen him, but I had said I was going to marry one of the girls. And so I left, went back to North Carolina Central, and I had this radical change, this radical encounter with the love of God. And he radically changed my life, filled me with his spirit. I mean, just washed me and made me new. And I can remember saying, after God had changed me, I said, Lord, now I need for you to bless me with a wife, because God had called me ministry. Immediately, I knew it. And I said yes to it. And I said, bless me with who it is that you want me to have. Allow me to see her so that the ministry can be complete. Because I knew I was going to be a ministry. And I said, it's got to be a special woman. And so, making a long story short, I came back, and the whole time I used to ask my friends to go to one of my friends' house. We were in this singing group. And I was like, yo, he went to the Little City State. I said, bro, you sing my wife? He'd be like, who? I would always go to these rehearsals. I would say, you sing my wife? And he was like, you talking about one of the twins? He was like, man, I'm going to introduce, shout out to Javon. I'm going to introduce you to them girls, boy, because you get on my nerves, bro. You ain't even never spoke to them. You talking about your wife? I said, bro, I'm going to marry one of those girls.
And he introduced Gorden, and Gorden said absolutely nothing.
Yo, he introduced me to him, and all I could feel was, don't, you know how that saying says,
first impression?
No, speak once, listen twice. All I could think of was, don't say anything for them that may throw them off. Like, I didn't want to say anything in my humanity and outside of character that it would throw them off. That's how serious I was. I didn't want them to be able to perceive anything off. I was like, I'm just not going to say a lot. I'm going to be very quiet because I don't want to mess up anything. And so I would get around them. I wouldn't say much. And I'm a talker. And I would just,
a major talker.
I would just let them talk. But the whole time I was asking God to show me who was my wife. I was like, God, just give me a peace about it, because I was like, I'm sitting there the whole time like it's one of y'all. And so I started going around, and I would get around them, and I would never forget we had an opportunity to be, like she said, it was a program. When we got to the program, her and her sister, I saw her and her sister praying for this girl, and they were praying that she'd be delivered. They were praying her through something really tough in her life, and she was on the ground, and they were praying and just agreeing with her and comforting her. And I was sitting back like, yo, that's what I'm talking about. I was like, that right there. And I couldn't, at that moment, I was like, yo, I don't know who it is, but if I got the way they praying for this girl and praying her through deliverance, I mean, and they were travailing with her. And I was like, oh my God. I was over there. I'm supposed to be praying in the service. I'm looking at them like, woo, glory. I'm like, girl, y'all better pray over there. And so, making a long story short, I said in my mind that night, I said, Lord, what can I do? What can I do to kind of initiate this process? I said, I don't know. I said, you know what? So I got one of their numbers, and I got one of their numbers. I said, yo, you know what? I would love to get up with you guys sometime, because I was watching the program.
He said I wanted to pray with
pray.
you.
Maybe we could pray, because you know what? The thing was,
what kind of line is that?
I knew where I was going at, and I felt like, yo, if we can pray together, maybe during prayer something could happen, or not even when I was just trying to holler with the prayer.
He was trying to holler.
I was trying to holler. But, and so, making a long story short, with that connection, I ended up getting around them and going sit into like one of the student centers, and we were eating or something. And I never forget the first time I heard their take on relationships.
Oh my Lord.
And, yo,
I was done for.
Listen.
He was assured that I was not his wife.
Yo.
He didn't want to have anything to do
with me. In that
conversation,
I grew up around very strong women. I love strong women. I was raised by women my whole life. That's all that was around me. You know, my dad and mom never got married. My father is a great man. He's raised a great family. But I didn't grow up with my dad, right? And so with that being said, all women raised me. They're all strong-willed. They're all very, and so I was like, yo, I want strong women in my life. I said, but I don't know if I want to marry somebody that's going to be, you know what I'm saying? I wanted somebody more meek, back.
Because we were talking about men. and our perspectives on relationships, how we felt about, the male species, how they operate around women. And I just kind of had the perspective from my experience that a lot of guys were just dogs, that they were excited about pursuing a relationship, pursuing a female, but they were not excited about maintaining the relationship, at all. So I just felt like
excelling and
they were not
growing.
They were not about trying to grow the relationship. None of that.
Topic,
they were just excited about the challenge of getting a girl. So I just felt like all guys were dogs, because for me, when I love hard. And I just felt like a lot of the guys that I had been in relationship with or just been dating, they just weren't serious. And so I verbalized that in our conversation, and he's sitting over there like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, she started being like, "Yeah,
She's
man, I'm
not
gonna tell you right now, they blah blah blah." And I was
all
like,
of them are dogs. No.
Diary of a Mad Black College Student Girl. And I was like, and Mary was just over there, just
quiet,
and I'm sitting like, "There she go."
He was like, "That's my wife."
Like, "That's it." I was like, "That's it right there." And so from that, I was like, "That's it." But I did that from off the sake of what I felt like my preference was, or what I said I didn't want so much. So I was
and
like,
what he didn't want was what he needed.
And
right?
so therefore, as we
babe.
All right, and so make a long story short, I ended up saying it in my head, but for some reason it just didn't happen that way. Even though I said it in my head, I always was drawn to Martha. And I never forget, I went and got some. We talked a little while, been around each other, and I went and bought these Bibles. And on one of the Bibles, I got a Bible for her and her sister, and I was praying. I got an engraving in it, and I was praying what to get engraved in the Bible. And on one of the Bibles, I put.
For Mary, if I'm not mistaken, it said, "Wait on the Lord."
I said, "Wait on the Lord." And then on hers, I put, what did I put on yours?
I don't know.
Well, when I engraved those things on the Bible,
it was something that spoke to what was happening in that season that we were in. And it's a shame that I don't remember.
And what's crazy is, I told Mary
I think it might have been that God would provide, or...
I said it on Mary's Bible. And when I gave her Bible, that's when God let me know. I told her those that wait on the Lord to kind of let her know that this wasn't it. Like, that she was going to have to wait. And she did. And God did. You
didn't even know that you were saying that.
I had no idea that I was saying it.
It was like God led you.
It's crazy.
Without even knowing. Because
without even knowing.
Honestly, at that time, he thought that it was possibly Mary.
Yeah.
So just to speak to all those who are out there, and we say this, and it seems very cliche, but what God has for you, no matter what, it's going to happen for you. It doesn't matter what obstacle stands in your way. It doesn't matter what people might say against it. If it's yours, if it's your season, the manifestation of it, it will come to pass. Even if you don't believe. Because at that time, honestly, I didn't know if it was Mary or I that would get Gorden. And he is a prize to be won. But
wow, that's crazy.
At that time, I honestly didn't know. But I was operating in faith. Like, okay, I'm speaking in the back of my mind. She might think that he's going to love her or that he was going to pursue her. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, he's mine. He's my husband. And sure enough,
Y'all, excuse me for a second. Come here, child. Come here, child. Now, we're trying to do a video. Come here. Come here.
You need to wait.
Come here. I want you to just look in front of people. All right, this is Madison. This is our middle daughter. Could you just say what you just asked us?
How many minutes do we have?
How many minutes do we have before we finish the video? And y'all can go do what y'all want to do.
No.
You want to know how many minutes that you have?
Yeah.
Infinity minutes. That means until I say something. All right, go ahead.
Whose kids are these?
I don't know whose kids are these.
Whose kids are they?
All right, guys, go ahead. We gotta finish.
Okay,
we gotta finish. All right, we're almost done.
Bye.
All right, and then I'm gonna bring all y'all.
What do you have on? That looks mighty tight.
That tight.
You need to find something
if you don't go
way
take-
too tight.
That is your baby sister outfit.
No.
That is Grace's. Go ahead.
Go
ahead.
Find something else.
Go
It's
ahead.
too
Go
short.
ahead, find something else. Cause Jariah here looking like a little.
It's not tight.
Go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
love you, bye.
You're looking like a little door prize. Go. Anyways, though, I didn't want to say this though. I don't know.
After these messages.
After these messages, we'll be right back. No, I do want to say this. And Martha's going to argue with this, and hopefully she can edit this video and she can condense everything. Because a lot of stuff is good, but she'll get to the main points. I do want to say there's a big argument around this next. It's controversial in our relationship. That after I called Martha the first night we talked on the phone, and I told Martha, I said, Martha, I saw you 2 years ago in the mailroom or wherever we were. I said, I saw you somewhere. And I said, at that moment, I knew that you were going to be my wife. And Martha said, Gordon, I don't want to scare you. You know, and I think she may have said this first before me. She said,
No, you said it
the
before.
first time I saw you, the Lord told me you were my husband. And we started going together. The first night we talked on the telephone.
Yeah, you were like, there's no need for us to start talking.
I literally said,
let's just...
Now, this ain't everybody's testimony.
Let's just be together.
Some of y'all...
It was love at first sight.
Listen. This right here is a very unique situation because everybody can't meet somebody for the first time.
No.
And we didn't even talk about Angel, how she was in my class.
Yes. Oh my God.
So I had a class with this girl named Angel. And I'm in the class.
An angel.
Listen, she's in my class. I've never met her before. She's in my class. I turn around, we're talking. And I'm like, she was like, yo, what in the world is going on with you today? Because I was always up. I said, man, I just can't get my mind off of this girl. I was like, who? I was like, it's these twin sisters. And I was like, I'm going to marry one of them. I don't know who it is. And I'm just going on and on and on. And every day, she's just talking to me about it, laughing and joking. Guess who this joker is?
Mind you, we were talking to her every day about this guy. It was him.
It's crazy.
We're talking to her. He's talking to her. But she's not telling us what either of us are saying.
Is that crazy?
And this girl literally lived next door to us.
Listen.
We were raised with her. We were
her.
like the best of friends.
Listen, I did not know it. Where do they do that at? I'm telling y'all, this is crazy.
God will align. He will
crazy.
put everything, all the pieces together in your life.
That's crazy.
When I tell you God has a plan for your life, he has a plan because he orchestrated this perfect. It could have been more perfect.
Yeah.
She literally lived next door to us. We were raised with her. We did everything together coming up. And it just so happened that we went to college together in all the classes. And there was a class that she had, and Gordon was in that class. He's constantly talking about us. We're constantly talking about him. And then one day she finally says, well, you know what, guys? I did kind of talk to Gordon, and he told me that he was interested in one of you. And we're like, what? Which one? Which one? We still didn't know.
Crazy.
But getting back to what Gordon was talking about, how we finally talked on the phone. And he's telling me his feelings about me, and I'm telling him how I felt about him. And we literally stayed on the phone from the nighttime until the next day. I don't even know how long we talked.
Matter of fact, I was working at a spot that you work overnight at. And I worked from 11 to 7, and I probably talked to her.
Until it was time for him to get off. Like, we literally...
that whole night we talked.
From night until morning. And it seemed like while we were talking, like the seasons and everything was shifting. It was like the heavens were opening when we were talking on the phone. And not to say that it's, we're not trying to be mystical or anything. Not at all. It was a God moment.
It was,
and we just knew from then on that we were meant to be. Now, is our relationship perfect?
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, sometimes I wish that we would just kept on walking and she would have kept right on going on about her business. And I would have just been like, well, I tell you one thing, ma'am. You sure do look nice. And I would appreciate to be with you, but I don't think we can do that this way.
No, but all jokes aside, we have our hardships just like everybody else does. Yeah. But we absolutely love each other, and we always come back to the fact that this is the one.
And I want to say this. Like, a lot of people may listen to our story and be like, "Man, that's amazing." Blah 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 blah. It's supposed to be like that with me. I'm just supposed to know and God. But everybody has a different story, a different path, a different way of meeting, a different way that God aligns things. Some paths are not as easy. Some paths are not as interconnected. Some people may date somebody, leave, date somebody else, and then time go on, come back. Somebody may have a friend that said we would never go there, and then they end up one day, kind of just falling in love. Yeah. Somebody may have somebody that they can't stand right now, and then a season will come where they're with you through the hardest times of your life, and you say, you know what? I never thought I'd feel this way, but man, you sticking with me. I gotta be with somebody. This is it. You're the one for me. And so it's gonna be totally different. So don't let our story make you feel like your story is not working or it's not going to happen that way, or if it doesn't feel this way, it's not God, right? I don't want you to think that. I also want to say this. In our marriage, it is very, 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 very beautiful. It's very rewarding, but it is a challenge. And I believe that the Lord uses marriage to sanctify individuals.
That's right.
I believe that God literally uses marriage. He uses situations in your marriage to absolutely prune you, make you better. Mm-hmm. Because when you're with your spouse, you can't hide yourself. It's like looking in a mirror, and the mirror is literally saying back to you all the things that you ignore about yourself.
That's right.
Because until I got married, I thought I was a great guy. But godly, when I got married, I said I am the worst person in the world. And
so not true.
But you know, this is what I say. Even in all of that, marriage is not about how you feel. It's about your commitments. And mature people live by their commitments. Immature people live by how they feel. And so within marriage and in relationships, most of the time, a lot of times you're going to feel like, you know, you're not there anymore. Or you're not connected. You might feel like, I hear people say, man, I fell out of love. My heart ain't there. I mean, the Bible says that the heart is deceiving, right? And so your heart literally is an emotion that goes off of your feelings. What I'm saying is, if your situation changes in your relationship, and your feelings change. But I'm saying most people will say, man, you know, I just ain't feeling them no more. Because that's why marriages fall apart because of money. Because when the money's not there, you start feeling a certain way about spouse and this stuff. You know, there's so many things that are attached to your feelings, and it makes you fall apart. But immature people walk away because of how they feel. Mature people say, I'm committed. I've committed to you. I've committed to our love. Now, you can't be putting your hands on nobody. You can't be verbally abusing nobody. All that mess, you get up out of here. I got 5 daughters. You better not let me find out you put your hands on my daughter. Because I will become a chaplain in prison. It's all good. I got a ministry there too. Don't do it.
But that's why every day you have to work towards making your marriage better.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe that God has to be the center. He has to be the center. Because without Jesus being the center of what we've decided to do, as far as our commitment, we wouldn't be able to.
How are we gonna sustain?
We won't be able to honor our commitment at all. I can't. There will be nothing keeping us.
I can't love you enough on my own.
No.
In my own strength. Every day I see something that I like. Every day you see something you like, as in physical appearance.
Yeah.
Even we see things as in security wise, money wise. Like you probably see men that's like, man, girl, he's a tiny fine glass of chocolate, or whatever she want to call it. White chocolate, brown chocolate, whatever chocolate she want. I don't know what type of chocolate she want, but she wants chocolate. But, you know, and girl, he is providing, girl, he makes 6 figures and all this type of money, girl, I know we'll be straight. And then you come over here and you look at me, you're like, well, he a blessing. You know, and she sees something she like, I may see something that I like every day. In our own ability, we can't love each other enough. Yeah. But because we have, you know, Christ in our life, it centers us. It's what we build everything around, because he is love.
And not only do we hold each other accountable, he holds us accountable. Because we love him, we have to live by his ways and his will. And with that being said, you know, that's what's going to keep us together. Our love is, you know, amazing. However, his love and knowing his commandments is what keeps us together. All right, well, guys, we so enjoyed talking to you all and sharing. We hope that our story has been an inspiration to you, that you've gained some extra knowledge about us and also about you and your journey. And we hope that all of you will find your special someone. We hope that you all will see the fulfillment of God's plan in your life. We love you guys. You want to say something else?
God bless you.
When I was young, I dreamt of a fairy tale.
Come on.
Spending all my time throwing hopes.
Kiss me, you dummy. Come on.
That one day I would run right into love. Only to find that love was